Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Let me know if you can or can't in the comments. Let's see who's here. Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me? That's the big question. Are we a go with sound? Maybe. All right. Well, we'll find out. Okay, cool. Thank you. Yeah. Unfortunately, audio is going to have to be done on my laptop. My trusty old microphone that I've had for years when I was in podcasting, I guess decided to kick the bucket when I was on this last trip. So unfortunately, unfortunately, it's just going to be me talking into my computer. But hi, everybody! I'm so glad you're here. This is so amazing. Let me check and see who's here. All right, Ian's here. Angel Face is here. Trav is here. My ADV 360 is here. Hi, everybody. Valkyrie's here. Hi. Hi, Jeffrey. So glad everybody's here right now. I hope everybody has a refreshment because it's the weekend. Yeah. First of all, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your Friday to hang out with me. I think unlike most of the YouTubers that I love and follow, I don't have a shit ton of memorabilia or just anything graphic behind me because I live in a storage shed when I'm at home on the ranch with my folks. So you guys get the lovely door that's between me and the outside world. But also thank you, Trav. Yes, please don't forget to like the live stream. This is my first round. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. We're just gonna have some fun and go from there. So Angel Face, I have no idea where Chris is. Hopefully he'll be here soon. Otherwise, I'll sick Trav on him shortly. Minimalism look. I'm actually really excited. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't paint my nails very often because when you live on a motorcycle, you don't really get the chance to be girly very often. But I'm going to be traveling and going to an awards banquet tomorrow evening in Denver because my partner won an Emmy Award for a regional Emmy Award for a video he made last summer. And so I get to dress up and be fancy, and I'm very excited about it. So, yeah. All right, Chris is here. Hi, Slowboat86. Yeah, Chris, sorry I started a little bit early, mainly because I wanted to make sure everything worked. And here we are. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. I'll probably give it another couple minutes and then we'll kind of get things rolling here. I decided to skip bourbon tonight, and I'm drinking a lovely Pinot Grigio that my father swears by. And the reason is because I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow, and I'm afraid if I drink bourbon, I might miss it. So we're going to stick with something a little bit lighter. All right. Tom Amoto's here. Hi, dude. So stoked you're here. It's like, I think we're all getting used to each other's live streams. Oh, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Hold on real quick. Gonna check in. All right. The watch party with Sean is officially here too. That makes me super stoked. What else do we got? All right. Well, I guess since we got a nice little gang of people here, we'll get rolling. So one of the cool things about the last few days for me has been that this is essentially the week that is my year anniversary of when I left to live on the road last year. And I decided to do that for a lot of different reasons, but one of the main reasons I did it is just because I could. I didn't have anything tying me down other than my dogs, and I thankfully have 2 wonderful parents who have 80 acres in Missouri that were more than happy to house my dogs for an indefinite period of time. And so I decided to, thanks, Alex. Also, hi, Dewey Rides. So stoked you're here, man. So I decided to just pack everything on my Honda CB500X and live off my bike for at least a year, if not longer. And it's been a cool milestone this week to be back home, to be kind of in the place where all of this started. It's been a little bit of a tough week. My mom had heart surgery this week, and my grandma is unfortunately in hospice. So I've been spending a lot of time with family and trying to make sure that I'm present for them. But it's been great. It's been very cool to kind of see all this go for full circle, and also, yeah, to do a live. Sweet. It's so nice to see everybody. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it. But yeah, 1 year anniversary feels pretty rad. I'm very excited about it. And I'm also excited to keep it going. I know I've had a lot of people ask questions about what I'm going to do next. And to be honest, I'm not sure. I did just wrap the project with VB40, and that was hugely important to me. We did a documentary filming a group of veteran adventure riders heading up to Tuktoyaktuk and back from Astoria, Oregon. And the whole point of our documentary was to essentially shed light on suicide awareness within the veteran and active duty military communities. And I think we did a great job doing that. And now Alex and I are going to spend probably the next 6 to 12 months editing that project, which will be fantastic. And we're so excited to be doing that. But yeah, that's going to be life for a little while. So I will be back in Oregon, I think quite a bit this summer and fall, which will be awesome. And I know a lot of you are in Oregon. So I can't wait to be up there and ride with you. I will also be at Chris's awesome weekend in Vancouver Island in September. So for those of you going to that, I can't wait to see you. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you, Chris, for putting all of that together for us. We love the shit out of you, obviously. But yeah, that's what's up next for me is Oregon for a little while, a lot of work. I'm also finishing my novel that I've been trying to finish for the last couple of months, but work gets in the way. So those will be my two big projects, and doing a ton of writing and just enjoying life, and trying to get some sleep, because the sleep debt, I think, from Thailand and from going up to the Arctic Ocean is pretty substantial. But yeah, my ADV 360, I'm so stoked that you're going to be up there. Yeah, so at this point, if anybody has questions, the floor is open. I obviously have spent a lot of time traveling the last year. I did most of the Western US on my Honda up through BC, Banff, Jasper, back down from Prince George to Vancouver Island, and through Oregon. After that, I did the whole Highway 101 down the coast and hung out in the southwestern US for a few months just to do some rallies and enjoy motorcycle riding community down there. And then, of course, was my stint in Southeast Asia through Vietnam, through Thailand, and where else was I? Indonesia. Yeah, for 3 months. And then I came home and within 2 days had signed on to do this amazing project I did with VB40. So that's been my year. It's been intense and so much fun. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. All right, Sean, I got it. Sean says, what was the biggest unexpected challenge for you personally on the Tuk expedition? The biggest challenge for me was not sleeping. That was something that took a toll on me quite a bit. It still is. I mean, you can probably see the bags under my eyes still, but when you have 24 hours of daylight, it's just, it takes a toll on your body. I'm one of those people too, where if the sun is up, I'm usually up, whether there's blackout curtains or I have a face mask on, it doesn't matter. So I was averaging probably 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night for most of the trip, and it's definitely worn me out. But that was the biggest challenge I dealt with, because then you follow that up with 15 to 18-hour film days and offloading footage and being jammed in the back of a truck cab with two of my favorite people, but just trying to do our best to get all the footage we wanted, get all of the incredible film and shots and everything we needed for our documentary. And it was a task, but it was totally worth it just to have that experience with those guys and be able to now take the reins to tell their stories and raise awareness on an issue that I think needs to be at the forefront of issues in our country right now. Sure, Angel Face, if you have something you want to announce, please go for it. That's totally up to you. Critter, what do we got? How long did it take to get into the groove living as a nomad? Not long. Maybe a couple days. I think one of the things that is very prevalent when you start doing this, like, and you know it's going to be for a while, is you're very present. Time kind of slows down for me. I don't know if it does this for everybody, but time definitely slows down because I'm so engaged in every second of every day. Because there's, at the end of the day, you know, other than having a destination you want to get to, it's just little things, little pieces of, I need to do this, I need to do that. But otherwise, then you're filming. Otherwise, you're trying to find new angles. You're trying to really see and absorb and experience everything you can. And you get used to showering less. You get used to sleeping on the ground. Humans are insanely adaptable creatures. And if you decide to do something like this, it certainly has its moments of being hard. I mean, my left eye is twitching right now just from being tired, but you adapt a lot faster, especially if you're very accepting of the fact that these are your circumstances. You will adapt so quickly, and I think you'll be surprised at how incredible it is. The only thing that does get tough is this is, I think, for females especially, you don't get to pamper ever. You have to learn how to just be nitty and gritty. And I was really good at that before I left. I've gotten way better at it, but there's definitely elements of that can be very tough as a female, and it's definitely a learning curve. So, all right, let's see here. Any other questions? Yeah, Chris, I know nomad life is easier for you. Yes, Alex is here. Everybody, please say hi. Also, if you don't already follow him on YouTube, please follow him on YouTube. Alex is a wonderful human being. He's my partner, and he's been a pioneer in the ADV industry for probably 12 or 13 years now. He is about to win an Emmy tomorrow night for a film that he shot and I assisted with last summer when we were in Wyoming. Super proud of him, and it's really, really incredible to see how someone's hard work over so many years pays off. So really proud of you, Alex. Also, thank you for being here. And yes, if you guys don't follow him already, please go follow him. His videos are some of the best you will find with travel and motorcycles and everything else. So anyway, yeah, sorry. You get a shout out whether you want it or not. But anyway, please follow him, and you will not be disappointed. I can promise you that. And yeah, you can see everybody is very excited about this. But anyway, yeah, congrats, Alex. So proud of you. What else we got? Anybody else got any questions? Let's see. Do you find it hard to enjoy the adventure from behind the lens? No, I do not. I think one of the things that I love about being behind a lens is I'm a storyteller. I've never been somebody that likes to be the center of attention. I don't like to be in front of a camera. I don't want to be in the center of anything. I like being the person that facilitates that. And so being behind a lens gives me the opportunity to lend my eyes to the person. So I try to focus on those things that I am seeing and I am feeling. And I bring those emotions usually with my narration and my videos as best I can, because obviously no person is going to see something the same as the person beside them. We all view things so differently. But no, being behind a lens, at least at the professional capacity, luckily have not had that experience of having the actual appreciation of what I'm seeing be disengaged. Then I know some people get behind a camera and they don't actually really take in what's in front of them. And I think because I started doing this at a later age and because I do appreciate the fact that I get to do this every day and that it's a treat and a treasure and incredible, will not ever get lost on me. It certainly is a grind. It certainly takes a lot out of you in moments, but um, even just within this last year of all the travel I've been able to do and all the things I've been able to see, it makes me grateful to be behind the lens because I get to give what I see to other people. And there's nothing more rewarding for me than that. Um, where is my dream location to tell my story? Ooh, that's a good question, Chris. To be honest, my dream location is always going to be Oregon. Oregon is home. Um, every every time I come back, I end up back in Oregon. And one of the reasons for that is because after my divorce at 30, I moved to Bend and I started my whole life over. And as a result of that, my chosen family is there, my best friends are there. All the areas I really learned how to ride ADV and all the little kind of like hideaways that most people don't know about are still there for me. And they're some of my favorite places to escape to and go. And Oregon, for me, the terrain is just so incredibly diverse. We have the desert, we have the mountains, we have the volcanic areas, we have the rainforest. We have the beaches, we have anything you could possibly imagine there. And for me, that is just like a full circle, amazing landscape, environment, everything to have. And I'm a bit of a desert rat. Like I know most people that follow me know I love the Alvord Desert. I love the Badland Desert outside of Bend. Anything with that. And then I'm also a downhill skier, so I love the mountains. I love snow. I love all of that. So Oregon for me is where my heart is probably always going to be. I'm always going to end up back there, and that's just kind of how it is. But yeah. Um, all right, Ian, diving in. How do I deal with the low times, like when things are frustrating, lonely, or the days just seem never to end? This is a great question, especially because, to be honest with everybody here, I'm an open book, and most of you know this. This week has been very difficult. I came home. My grandmother, who is 91 years old, her name is Geraldine. She is my biggest fan and has been since I started doing this. I talk to her every week, send her pictures, videos, everything. And she has been above and beyond anyone else in my life, my biggest supporter, especially when I started doing this. And so when I was on this trip with VB40, unfortunately, my grandma went into chronic heart failure and had a multitude of surgeries and now is in hospice care and is probably not going to be with us very much longer. And that's been very difficult. Now, granted, I feel very lucky that I have been home as much as I have been in the last year, that St. Louis has essentially been my home base because I've gotten to spend more time with my grandma than I have in a lot of years. And having her support and love has been incredible, but it's really difficult for me to make peace with the fact that she's not going to be here for very long. My mother also had heart surgery this week. And so, unfortunately, you deal with these moments of people close to you that you care about. And they're just hard times. And I tend to find a good release in going for long runs, being outside. I'm very fortunate that other than being on a motorcycle, my parents have a very beautiful piece of property here that I can just go sit and relax and try and decompress on. I cry a lot, full disclosure. It's a great emotional release. And I spend time with my dogs and I talk to my friends. I've had my own highs and lows with depression and anxiety over the years. And one of the best things I have found is making sure that in these moments when I feel like I need support, I try to lean on the people that say they're there to support. And I think that helps more than anything else. It's just knowing that we have our friends for a reason. We're all going to need to lean on each other at different times and through different moments of life. And the best thing you can do is move around, get sunshine, drink water, eat some good food, and talk to your people. That is 100%. The last thing I'll say is do something to help others. In the moments when I have been the lowest, the things that snap me out of it the fastest are helping other people, showing up for a friend that doesn't even know you're going through something, showing up for them, being nice to a stranger, buying someone a coffee, like little things like that go a million miles. So those are my go-tos. But all right, hold on. Let's go over here. Getting lots of questions now and I love it. Let's see. Good Life ADV. Hey dude, so happy you're here. What is my biggest fear when traveling to remote areas? Not usually humans, it's usually animals. Occasionally it's humans, but one of the things I do as a female, and a semi-attractive female, is that usually if I'm traveling alone and I'm on the road, I dress like a boy. I don't wear a lot of makeup. I wear baggier clothes. I try to cover my blonde hair, whether it's in a hat or a beanie or something like that, unless I'm in a really public campground, and then I really don't give a shit. But in those times that I'm more remote and I'm trying to be protective of myself, I really just keep to myself. And I also will occasionally, if I know I'm not going to be leaving the country, legally carry my firearm with me. And I also occasionally carry knives on me just in case. But again, my biggest fear is not people, particularly right now. It's animals, bears, the like. And so I have been very fortunate, I think, to have a ton of great interactions with humans. Obviously, there are some bad apples in there. I could tell some very, very terrible stories about some places in Northern California, but we don't need to do that today. Just playing it safe. If your alarm bells are going off, get out of there is how I look at it. Let's see here. Chris, for someone considering or contemplating a nomadic life, what 3 big pieces of advice would I give them? Expect the unexpected. This is number 1 always. Pack as little as possible. And just be open-minded. The best thing I did about this year was I went into everything open-minded, open heart, just 100% was ready to be in a place, ready to absorb everything I could, ready to experience culture when I was in Asia, willing to make friends, willing to talk to people, talk to strangers. It's something I think you learn when you travel alone is just you're a lot more engaged with the people around you. So I would definitely recommend just being open is that 3rd final piece for me. Yes, Trav, Oregon is pretty great. Alex, after Subway, what's my go-to food on the road? Oh God. Subway is pretty high standard. As I think all of you know. I don't love Subway. It's just the healthiest, cheap option on the road. And I don't care who you are. That's probably the best one. I would say second place is like a grocery store salad. Those can run anywhere from $5 to $10. I have to eat as healthy as I can because when you're sitting your ass on a bike all day and you don't always get to go to the gym, got to try and stay as healthy as possible. So I watch what I eat pretty carefully. But yeah, I would say that's second. Splurge is hitting a brewery and having French fries for sure. Let's see. After long days in the saddle, hi Tom. Have you ever thought I can't get back on that thing and just take a day off to relax? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And this is another piece of nomad life. If you don't have to be anywhere and you're having one of those days, don't ride. Because most of the time, if you're in that mindset, you're going to ride like shit anyway. So don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Instead, yeah, definitely take a day off, find a cheap motel, especially during the summer, get in some air conditioning, relax, hop on the computer, watch a movie, take some naps, go to the gym if there's one nearby, get out for a walk, anything like that. But definitely, if you're not feeling the saddle and it's like really messing with your head, just don't do it if you don't have to. You don't need to push yourself further than you're physically capable of doing. What besides Subway do I eat? Salad, Trav. It's terrible. I hate it. What kind of bourbon am I drinking? Chad. So I said this earlier, I think right before you got here, but I have to go with wine tonight per my dad. It's his favorite Pinot Grigio, but I've got to be on like a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow out to Denver. So I feel like if I have some bourbon, I might not wake up in the morning. So we're going to take it easy with a nice glass of wine tonight. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Ben is here. Hi, Ben. So excited to see you. Also, thanks for the hugs, Chris. Hardest part for me on Embrace the Tuck, William. I mentioned it was the sleep thing, just with the eternal sunshine of the days. But yeah, I think it was just that and the straight grind of, man, just having to hit it hard every day and only having about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. It got really exhausting. But also, Billy, why are you under William Steele? Billy Steele is way better. It's also a great porn name. Anyway, IADV 360. When you're not behind the camera or editing content, what do you do to support the mobile lifestyle? All right. So this has been a question that I can't wait to share with everybody, but I have like 3 different jobs and I love all of them. My videography and my storytelling has only just recently become an actual financial addition to my income. I have a remote job that I've had for almost 12 years where I work for a medical billing company. I actually specialize as a medical coder for an anesthesia billing company. And one of the reasons I kept this job is because it kept me with full health insurance. And 2, because even though I'm on the road, I need to have money. I spent this year very broke, but I had enough to pay my bills. And I think that is so important just to keep sanity. Also, it is something that keeps you grounded every day. If you have to work 3 to 4 hours every day, it does kind of add that element of like, I need to get to a coffee shop. And then you do kind of check in and you will have those moments where you can take 3, 4, 5 days and do whatever the hell you want. And it's fantastic, but you will find that it keeps you kind of, I guess, attached and connected to the real world in a really positive way. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, thanks, Angel Face. Yeah, I actually, full disclosure, Roadrunner comes from Anthony Bourdain, who is essentially one of my heroes. And I firmly like to believe I'm carrying his legacy on, as silly as that sounds. I feel like that man's ghost follows me and haunts me everywhere, and I love it. So, who is my decorator? Thanks, Ben. It's this lovely garage door that essentially keeps me housed in this very tiny storage unit that I live in when I'm at home with my folks on their property. And it's great. It does the job, but I'll only be here a short time longer, and then I'll be back in Oregon for a bit. So looking forward to that. Also, thanks for pointing that out, Ben. I appreciate it. Trav, let's see. Really, Ben? Yeah, I'm sorry. I painted my nails for you. How's that? Because of the wild animals. That's weird being concerned. Thanks, Trav. Also, Ben, very happy you stole the beer from Giant Loop. I'm sure that's what they were aiming for. Let's see. I'm sorry, catching up on questions, everybody. Chad, here we go. What is the most sentimental experience you've had on a long journey? Something you reminisce about often? This is probably a positive one, and also one that might not be a full circle moment for everybody here. But my last couple of days in Vietnam, I hit like a serious break point with social media. Where I just started to realize that I was putting so much into it and not getting enough out of it. And it was distracting me from having the experience I wanted to have in Asia because I was so concerned about footage and everything else. And I sat down with Alex and had a conversation with him and basically just said, I think I'm going to turn everything off for a couple of days. And I did. And It was that last week essentially in Vietnam that I had the best time because I didn't engage. I actually really lived in the experience, and then I've pretty much continued to do that ever since. I've been much less active than normal. I've been focusing, I think, on things that actually matter to me. So improving my videography skills, really being present, posting, of course, but not really being ingrained in social media at the level that I used to be. And I'm a lot happier as a result. I've actually been able to focus on projects that matter. And I think that's also one of the reasons why when I got pulled into the VB40 project, I was so excited about it, is because I was so tired of fluff and all these things that I felt didn't really matter. I wanted to do projects that people would connect with and relate with. Like, sure, like riding through Thailand on a Pan America is one of the most incredible experiences I'm gonna have in my life. And I'm so grateful for that. Thank you, Alex. But at the same time, getting to sit down with real human beings and talk about an epidemic in our veteran community is something that I find infinitely more valuable than just beautiful footage of Songkran in Thailand, which also, by the way, is very fun. I highly recommend going. But I hit a switch when I was in Asia. I think being there and being ingrained in that lifestyle and in that mentality really just changed a lot of things and put a lot of positive perspective on my path forward and what I wanted to do differently. And I'm so glad it did, because I think it's what got me my project with VB40. And I think it's getting me consequently more projects that I'm very excited to be a part of and working on as well. All right. So yes, Chad, that's my sentimental experience. Let's see. Hi, Trav. Aside from the visa problem, what was the worst part about my overseas trip this year? Getting water poisoning. Oh my God. I got water poisoning in Vietnam, I think. Pretty sure that's when it started. I then spent most of my time in Asia having very troubled GI issues. And that's just kind of a normalcy when you're over there. I would have weeks where it would be totally fine. And then I would have a week where I needed a bathroom every hour and a half. It's just how things go. That was probably the worst part. And just the dehydration then too, which paralleled up with Thailand being 115 degrees every day, sitting on a steaming hot Pan America for 9 hours, trying to film, trying to deal with camera gear, taking jackets and pants on and off. Like, oh my good God, it was a lot. So just don't drink the water. And also be mindful of how much pho you're eating, because they use their water there. And if your stomach's not used to it, oof, oof, oof. Also, thank you, Chris, for putting the peer pressure on. Everyone, please like the video. Love you guys. Hi, Soulsman. So nice to have you here. I appreciate you joining in. Where haven't I been that I'm longing to go to? Everywhere. At some point, I will probably take a half of a year or a whole year and do South America. That won't be for a little while. I think things need to calm down a little bit there, and then I'll go. Morocco's at the top of my list. I have some connections there. Been frequently trying to build a motorcycle project there. I'm hoping for 2024, if not 2025. And then also consequently probably doing a trip through Africa. Africa to me is, I want to find the story there, kind of like what I was talking about earlier, of something that will connect with people and be bigger than just cinematography and my own personal journey shit, which I know is great and everybody relates to, but there's always something bigger and I want to cover what's bigger. So Africa, and I've been very lucky. I've done most of Western Europe. I love it there. I can't wait to go back at a certain point. Mongolia is on my list. I want to finish the southern part of Vietnam. That actually I might do next winter, as well as hit Cambodia. Would really like to go see some of the temples in Cambodia and ride there. Back to Australia and New Zealand. I loved New Zealand when I was there. I just feel like I want to go back. But yeah, I think there's a reason to go everywhere. I think there's really a reason to pick up and just experience a place and see what's new, enjoy a different culture, enjoy a different way of thinking. Um, Tasmania is also on my list. Man, so many places. I was actually thinking about going with a group to Kazakhstan in the fall. I don't think logistically things are going to work out, but it's really cool to kind of start to think too about the Middle East. I've been to Jordan. Jordan's remarkable and wonderful. And I really can't wait to go back again and do the Wadi Rum Desert and see it. But yeah, there's so many places to go on this earth, and I plan on just continuing to see as much as I possibly can. Let's see. Billy, where's the next big trip? I don't know. That's kind of the beauty of things right now is I don't know what the next big trip is. I'm going to be in Oregon because I have an editing project to do, which you are a part of. But one of the trips that is on my horizon is getting back to Southeast Asia and actually finishing touring the last few countries I would like to see there. I would also really like to go to Laos. Yeah, I've heard it is some of the best overlanding and off-road riding in Southeast Asia. So if I could do that, Cambodia and then Southern Vietnam, I'd be very stoked next winter. So that's probably the top of the list right now. Ben, it is a steaming hot Pan America. I mean, if anybody sat on one of those bikes when it's over 80 degrees, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I actually have burns on the inside of my legs from that engine scalding me from steam. So yeah, it's a steaming hot bike. Yes, I would love to do Morocco and Dubai. So else, man, absolutely. Any word when the VB40 documentary will be released? I would love to say next week, but as much as I hate to say this, it's probably going to be end of like next spring. We are piecing together an actual documentary of footage that is incredible cinematic film combined with very in-depth, intense interviews that tell the stories of the 7 veterans that did this trip and why it's important to them. Also paired up with a lot of the numbers that are often very hard for people to hear about veteran suicide. One of those being, and this is the one I think I share the most, that in the post 9/11 wars, we've lost a little over 7,000 active duty in combat not vets, but military servicemen and women. And then that's 7,000 just from combat. And the actual number of suicides that they estimate, it's not accurate, they estimate of post 9/11 war veteran and active duty suicides is over 30,000. That's over 4 times the amount killed in combat. And that number is shocking and terrible. It's horrifying. And I plan, as well as Alex, we both plan on being pretty diehard with this documentary about making people uncomfortable to cause some change in the system and to help people that need it. So we feel very lucky that we get to do this project. It's going to take us 6 to 8 months to do the editing on this film, and we're really excited about it, but it's going to take some time. BB40. Do you think you'll release another book anytime soon? Yes. So I have actually written and am finishing. I've actually been writing it this entire year. I've been writing a book about my year on the road, and it's been incredible. I just I can't wait to share it with everyone. I obviously have a lot of stories, and being a storyteller, it makes it a lot more fun to share in that way. But there's also a lot of pieces of me and my past you'll get from that little memoir. So yeah, it should hopefully be done by early fall. And from there, it's just getting it published. So that will be the next writing goal for me, at least. Let's see. Will I be in Cambodia for Christmas? Perhaps a holiday in Cambodia. Ben, if you want to come join me, you're more than welcome to, man. I'm so down. Um, I think I would get murdered by my family if I unfortunately skipped holidays and was in Cambodia, but I guess ask for forgiveness, not permission, right? All right. Uh, let's see. What's the best part of working with the vets on my recent documentary? And what was the most challenging about working with the vets? The best part for me was I felt I walked away with a couple of friends that I will have for the rest of my life. Um, you are really up in each other's business on a trip like this. And while Alex and I are very used to doing that to the two of us, doing that with a group of 7 other people is very different. And we're also very lucky that our truck driver, Billy, who was in the truck cab with us the whole trip, thankfully liked us because otherwise the trip would have been a lot tougher, probably on him, not on us. But um, Alex and I fell in love with Billy. He has become one of our closest friends. And we also really got to bond with the guys. I think me in particular, just being able to share about my own experience with suicide and with depression and handling some of these kind of extreme things that come and go with mental health. And forming bonds like that really connects you to people in such a strong way. And I feel very grateful for the opportunity to do a trip like this in a project with veterans because their perspective is so unique. And I have vets in my family. My family is very connected with the Navy, and I feel very grateful for that. And so, getting to have conversations and talk about hard things, and having everybody be so open and honest was awesome. The hard part about it, again, is just you have 7 strong personalities, and then me and Alex, and there's bound to be conflict. There always is. But we handled it well. We were able to work through what we needed to. Everyone survived the ride, thankfully, and we really didn't have any mishaps other than a shit ton of flat tires and things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, hardest part is just finding the groove with everybody, and the best part is also finding the groove with everybody. Um, bitching Camaro. Let's see. Trying to catch up here, everybody. The sneak preview of that book. Yeah, Ben, I know you got a sneak preview of the book and you like bragging about it. You're very lucky. Let's see. Chris, you're also my favorite. Just relax. All right. Tolerated you guys in the truck. You did tolerate us, Billy. Very, very thankful for you. And yes, Billy is a beast. Thank you, Chad. How did you deal with the traumatic stories you heard from the vets on the trip? This is a great question. And allow me to have a sip of wine. I think one of the ways you deal with trauma is you allow people to share their experience and you sit with them as they share that experience. And you let them know that they're supported through the sharing of that experience. For veterans in particular, I know it's often stigmatized to share some of the things that they were sharing. And the minute that I felt I earned their trust as well as Alex, and we really showed them that we were there to help. We weren't just a documentary crew trying to stir shit up and make something dramatic. We really just wanted to focus on the issue. I think that just opened a lot of doors because people seek authenticity and genuineness and empathy in these situations. And oftentimes they don't need you to understand. They just need you to listen, to actually hear what they're saying. And being able to do that is super important. I think that goes for all people rather than just vets too. You know, obviously vets, again, it's a little bit harder with the culture aspect of being in the military, but in general, that's just what anybody needs. They need somebody that empathizes with them and will theoretically or actually hold their hand and let them talk about their shit. That's what matters. So, let's see. How do I deal with the try? Okay, got that. Strong personalities from the vets. Yeah, but they're awesome. Love those guys. Would I go to Tuck again? Yes, I would love to. It was wonderful. Great ride. I would love to do the Dempster on my own bike. I think I would probably do the Dalton first just because I feel like I've already ridden the Dempster and I have not done the Dalton Highway yet, but we'll just see how life pans out. You never know. Let's see. Ben's just causing trouble as always. Surprise, surprise. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Summer. Oh, what else we got? Hold on, just scanning everybody. Anyone else have any questions about the VB40 trip? Any details? Anything along those lines? It just makes me laugh when Ben tries to pretend like he's, everybody's best friend. Tell him about my dogs. Unfortunately, my dogs are in the house with my mom, keeping her company because she's had a rough couple of days. We also had to put 2 horses down on the ranch this morning. One was over 30 years old. Her time had come. And the other was unfortunately a chronic pain sufferer. And my mom is a wonderful human being. She actually helps to retire horses that don't really have anywhere else to go. But these 2 in particular, she was very attached to. And so it was hard. So my dogs are over making sure that she's getting all the snuggles right now. But my basset hound is Annabelle. She's 5. She's a piece of work. And then Tamsin is my 2.5-year-old golden retriever who I call my little shadow. And I mean, I'm essentially a golden retriever. So she's just like me in dog form. So, all right, what do we got here? Which of the guys on the Ian, why would you ask a question like that? Which of the guys in the VB40 trip was my favorite? Well, technically my favorite person was, if we're talking about the trip, it was Alex. Second was a tie between Carl and Billy. I probably have to give it to Billy because I feel like out of everyone there, Billy got to know me the best. Mainly because he unfortunately got jammed in that truck with me and Alex for almost a month. But did love the shit out of Carl. And I did appreciate getting to know Carl. And I mean, it was all the guys. You can't really pick a favorite. But there's also Doug. Doug was the heart and soul of our trip. He's such a gem. I can't wait for you guys to get to know these gentlemen when the documentary comes out too. So they're wonderful, and I feel lucky to have worked with them. Let's see. Yes, golden retrievers are the shit. One of the things I love most about my golden is that she has no shame. Her whole MO is literally, I call her my little shadow because she follows me everywhere when I'm home. That includes scaring the bejesus out of me by jumping in the shower. That includes following me around the property, all these other things. And it's one of the wonderful pieces for me about being back here. Did I teach in the VB40 guys how to wheelie? I think Carl had it pretty figured out by the time we were at the end of the trip. I mean, it's a KTM thing, I think. But yeah, no, I'm not a wheelier. I'm just not, it doesn't really fit me. The only time I've done a wheelie was on my KTM 350 XCF that I had before I started this trip. And it was an accidental wheelie that I tried repeating a couple of times and it never went very well. So they did all the wheelies on their own. But thanks, Chad. I appreciate you rubbing that in. Hi, Amanda. I'm so glad you're here. Yeah, I know. Let's see. Kendra's here too. Hi, Kendra. So happy to have you here. Trying to think of what else. Also, just want to say, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the VB40 wives that are here. I know there's 2 of them here right now, but you guys, you gals are amazing for giving them the time to go do this project. I know it's not easy to give up your partner for a month and say, "Hey, go, film this thing and see how it is." But it really is something that I think is going to make a difference in a lot of really positive ways, and it's going to affect a lot of people in a lot of great ways. So, thank you, ladies, for stepping up to the plate and taking care of home base while we got to steal the guys for a month. It was wonderful, and I promise you it'll be worth it. Um, let's see. Yes, agreed with you, Trav. Wife of a veteran is every bit a veteran themselves, period. Yes. Man. No, you're stuck with him now. I got to deal with him for a month. You can hold on to him for a while. Yep, Angel Face, invite whoever you want, babe. Totally up to you. This is open house, more the merrier, always. I know you've had him for 20 years. I had him for 20 days. They're about the same, right? Let's see. I'm trying to think of some fun stories I can tell everyone. I mean, the VB40 project, as a lot of you know, was a very sudden project. I got pulled into it 2 days after I got home from Thailand. I got a message from my buddy Brady, Meerkat ADV, one of my favorite people on the entire planet. Brady, I know you might not be here. You might watch this later, but I love the shit out of you, man. Brady and I had been friends through Instagram. Also, just a testament to Brady. Last winter, when I was riding through Texas and dealing with some of the worst weather I've ever ridden through, rain, snow, ice, everything, Brady sent me a couple of very older brother messages on Instagram, and then just said, "I have this heating thing from Moscow that doesn't fit. Can I just send it to you?" And I was like, sure. I, of course, didn't really buy into the fact that he was going to send me anything. I got home from that trip and I had this amazing heated thermal from Brady waiting for me, and it fit perfect. And this is before I met Brady. This is just literally from following each other and from him living off his bike and knowing how hard it can be sometimes. And that is a testament to who Brady is. And he's just a wonderful dude. And getting that message from him that they needed a videographer from this project was one of the best moments of my life. One, to be even included in a group to go do a project like this, but two, the fact that I was able to then pull Alex in and make this into the project that it has become feels so wonderful. And I'm so grateful for that. All right. Breath and background. Sorry, got on a tangent. When do I have any plans to hit the tat? Yes. Yes. I am thinking about doing the tat next summer. I have been wanting to do the tat since last summer. In fact, I did a lot of research about doing the tat because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do yet. I actually had a really wonderful phone call with the guy who built the tat himself, and he's such a really wonderful guy, but he was very, very adamant that I had other people with me when I did it. So I think next summer is what I'm looking at if that works out. I would love to do that trip. It's one of the reasons why I want to spend some time in Oregon this fall and get my ADV and dirt riding skills back up again. I've obviously been riding almost every day for the last year, but getting those like fine-tuned skills of being off-road is something I haven't really had the chance to do much of in the last 6 months. And so I want to get all of that honed in before I do a big trip like that. What is the best food I had overseas? There is nothing better than beef pho in Vietnam. Nothing. It's $1. It's so good. You get Saigon beer with it. It's unreal. It's so good. Oh, I can't even tell you how amazing it is. I tried to have pho when I got home, and it was a mistake. It was a huge mistake. I was so bummed out because I literally had it and just the whole time was like, it's not the same. It's not the same. And I don't think it ever will be. So once you're there, it will ruin you. I'll tell you that. But that is by far the best food I had. And yeah, no, Subway doesn't count. Subway can fuck off. When am I writing the Oregon BDR with you? at a time when it's not 90 degrees on section 1. And also when I have a small bike because I think per trav riding a big bike sounds like the worst idea on the Oregon BDR. So if I get another like 350, yeah, I'm so in. Which I'm thinking about again. This is what happens when I'm home too long. I start thinking about the fact that I want a dirt bike and everything else. But anyway, yes, Ben, maybe in the fall. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Subway doesn't count. Got that. Thank you, Ben. Yes. At some point, a mod will be great. I don't think we need to deal with that too much right now. Thankfully, I haven't blown up in my following yet. Right. Get footage of who is actually the big spoon, Ben or Trav. Who is the big spoon, Ben or Trav? That is a good question. I'm going to post that to Ben and Trav. Who is the big spoon? Who is the small spoon? Does it rotate? We all want to know. So let's find out. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, Chad, please, if you want to do the tat next summer, hit me up. Let's talk about it because it's definitely something I want to do. Would love to have you on board to do that with me. You might just have to wait for me to keep up with you because I don't go 80 miles an hour on gravel anymore. See my wreck last summer. Let's see. Okay, Ben, if we're not doing section 1 again, fine. We can go this summer or we can go this fall. I'm in. All I heard from section 1 and 2 was rocks, and I don't like rocks. So if we're gonna skip rocks, I'm down. Ian, yes, the more the merrier. What's the? I'm assuming the trans Canadian. Okay, so it's the Canadian one. Chris, just let me know when you guys are gonna go across Canada, and I'll come with you. You know I would love that. Maybe Alex will come with us. He might enjoy that too. Ooh, that could be fun. Okay. You guys switch it up with big spoon, little spoon. I kind of figured you did. I feel like that's a rotation thing. So kudos to you guys. I'm glad you got the yin yang thing. Yeah. Nice. It's worse than spooning. Oh God, you guys. All right. What's my favorite type of pancake? I have a feeling this is aimed at Ian. I did confess something to Chris. Ian, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to admit this to you now. I confessed this to Chris earlier today. I'm not a pancake person. I love waffles. I'm so sorry, dude. I still love you. I just don't like pancakes. I don't know. I just can't do it. Yeah, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, French toast also. Who inspires me? Well, thanks for that, Angel Face. As much as I love a lot of the motorcycle women that are out there, I also cannot tell you guys the number of times I get asked if I'm itchy boots. Oh my God. It happens when I'm on a trip by myself. If I'm in California or anywhere west and I stop at a grocery store where there's a lot of people, I constantly have people that are like, "Are you itchy boots?" And I take it as a huge compliment. I mean, granted, I think I'm like a foot taller than her, which is hilarious because I'm a solid 5'10". You add motorcycle boots to that, I'm easily 6 foot. But I take it as a compliment because she's a badass and I appreciate so much what she does. But I didn't get into motorcycle ADV riding because of a female rider. I got into motorcycle ADV riding at a time when I was bored with road riding and I just wanted to try something different. And I had a whole bunch of guy friends at the time that did dirt riding and ADV riding, and they pulled me into it and I just loved it. The travel aspect of my life did not come from a female at all. It came from Anthony Bourdain. It came from being somebody who was a diehard fan of his for a lot of years, not even as a foodie, but as somebody that just wanted to travel and experience the world and help it grow me as a person. And Anthony Bourdain has single-handedly changed my life for a lot of great reasons. As a writer as well, he's an unbelievably great writer. A lot of people don't know that. They just see the show and think he's a personality, but he's a brilliant dude. Had some demons, unfortunately, that followed him around, but a lot of us do. And I think about that all the time because I did this because I take this quote of his with me every day to see the world with open eyes. That's all I ever wanted to do, is to travel and to see the world and to give that to other people and be able to share my experience of what I was feeling and thinking, and give that to somebody that couldn't go to Vietnam, that couldn't go to Indonesia, that couldn't, get up to BC and see Banff and Jasper and how fucking incredible it is up there. That was what I sought out to do. And as a writer, especially, I enjoy this because I'm constantly inspired and I constantly feel like I am searching for, I guess, just that infinite level of human understanding, of learning how small I am and knowing that the more I learn, the less I feel I know. Which sounds like a cliche, but it's so true. The more I learn about the world, the less I feel I know, other than the things that are right in front of me. And it's beautiful. And I get all of that from Tony. And that really just comes from him. Also, I love Hemingway. I mean, I was an English lit nerd. Ben can attest to that. And I loved reading Hemingway stuff. He was one of the biggest travelers around that time and lived everywhere and did everything. And even though he was quite the personality, I appreciated that aspect of his wandering soul. So that's where all of it came from. Let's see. Yes, Ian, I am cuter than you. Not by much, but I am cuter than you. Waffles do rule the world. Do I ever just say, yes, I'm itchy boots? No, I had a couple moments, but I think one of the big things is I just enjoy having those moments of people thinking I'm her, because it makes me feel like our community of adventurous people is a lot bigger than we realize, which is very cool. And in knowing that there are people that follow her and that really enjoy what she does, which is such a hardcore level of explorative writing, like incredible. I mean, this woman goes to the middle of nowhere and just figures it out. That's so rad. I respect her so much for that. That's a little less of what I do. My journey is to travel and to experience new cultures and to ride motorcycles all over the world. It doesn't need to be remote. I don't need to go do the hardest road you can find, because I'm not going to enjoy that. What I'm going to enjoy doing is taking a road a local told me about that gets me to the best camping spot, or taking like a super scenic little twisty road that's, maybe one or two lanes that, the locals take up the mountain in the morning to make deliveries. Those are the type of things that I seek after. It's not, let's see if my bike survives. It's more of, where can I get to today, and what things can I experience? Always be my big spoon again. Nice. Let's see. Oh my God, you guys. What's my next big bike? That's a great question. I've been very lucky that I've been able to, without buying one, ride a Pan America quite a bit. I do love those bikes, but I will never buy one of those for ADV riding. I would love it as a touring bike, but I think me personally definitely need something a little bit lighter. I have been thinking about an Africa Twin. I have been thinking about a handful of other bikes right now. I haven't made a decision on anything because, granted, I mean, I'm about to buy a truck. So that's kind of the first thing up, as well as rent a dirt bike for the fall. But I think the Honda is going to do me quite well until next summer. So especially if I go to Asia for the winter again, there's no reason to buy a bike right before I leave. So we'll just kind of see how the dice fall and we'll go from there. But yeah. Billy, how do you get an ADV bike? Well, I think first you need to talk to Amanda about riding a bike. And then once we get through that conversation, we'll talk about getting you a motorcycle. But I think first is probably getting wifey's approval, which, that is what matters. I know you know a guy, Ben. I just can't commit to anything right now. Let's see. Just borrow Ryan's bike. He's never gonna ride it anyway. Poor Ryan. I will borrow Ryan's bike, I'm sure. By the way, if you guys don't know, Ryan, who works for Giant Loop, one of my good friends, really good friends with Ben, is a really wonderful guy. He's helped me with my ambassadorship with Giant Loop, and I'm actually going to be working quite a few events with Giant Loop and Usui over the next couple months as a part of that team. So I'm really excited to be a part of that and help spread the word about how great of a brand Giant Loop is. So yeah. Anyway, yes, Ben does know lots of guys. Let's see. Does he know a guy who knows a guy? Let's see what else we got. I'm trying to think about fun stories from Asia. See if that inspires anything. I think one of the best parts about being in Thailand, especially, was going to Songkran. I know a lot of people have no idea what it is, so let me explain quickly. Songkran is a ceremony in Thailand for their New Year. It happens every April. It is insane because it is a giant nationwide water fight. If you are outside on the street, you are soaked, no matter what, with a hose, with a bucket of water, squirt gun, something, because essentially the whole world shuts down in Thailand for 2 days and everybody just gets in a giant water fight. And it was probably one of the coolest cultural experiences I've ever had, because I've never been in an environment like that where there's so many people down the road dumping water on each other, squirting each other with water, just like hosing people who are riding by, driving by, walking by, and you just get used to it. Like I was saying earlier, humans just adapt to everything, but there's nothing like it. And Alex and I made the great decision one day of like just riding into the chaos and seeing what it was all about. It was so much fun. So if you ever get the chance to go to Songkran in Thailand, I highly recommend it. It's magnificent. You will be soaked the whole time, but it will feel great because it's probably going to be 120 degrees. Thank you, Ian. Brad sauce, I like it. Strangest thing I ate on the road. Oh, that's a good question. Strangest thing I ate. Halfway through this wine. I think one of the strangest things I ate was, pretty sure I had dog, which I was not a big fan of, but sometimes you just got meat in things and you can't really ask questions. Man, not on the road in the last year. The strangest thing I've ever eaten was rotten shark in Iceland. And it was one of the only things I've ever eaten where my body immediately rejected it and would not allow me to consume it anymore. The minute I tried to ingest, it sent it right back out and basically put it in a shutdown zone. So I do not recommend rotten shark. It was a nightmare of a situation, but yeah, anyway, that's probably the weirdest thing I've ever had. Everything else feels oddly standard at this point. Let's see. What was the best prank from Amanda on the VB40 trip? Prank. We didn't really have a lot of pranks. Either that or I'm just blanking right now. Billy, if I forgot one, let me know. Hi, Brady. Oh, I'm so stoked Brady's here. Hi, dude. Also, hi. Looks like, let's see. Ray is here too. Hey, dude. So stoked you're here. Yeah, John did rip a couple of people's souls out. That's just how it goes. Prank Pranks though, Brady or Billy, if you guys remember any of the pranks that happened, I don't really remember. I do remember, I think one of my favorite parts of the trip was like our fourth or fifth night. Cody, oh, the hand under the tents. Yeah, I'll tell that one, Brady. Cody had a unicorn costume, like full body costume that he put on and was riding around one of our campsites with. Um, Oh, thanks, Billy. And like literally was just like the rest of the trip because when you're on these trips going one direction with kind of a group of travelers, it's kind of like a traveling circus. You run into the same people at every stop. So pretty much for the whole rest of the way up the Dempster, we were known as like the guy who had the unicorn in our motorcycle group. It was hilarious. Um, we did have a couple of people scare each other by in the middle of the night grabbing ankles from under tents, which I was not a part of it. I did not witness it, but I heard it almost made Tommy pee his pants, which I would have definitely paid to see. And then the other, oh yeah, the beards at the hot springs were great. For those of you that don't know, Billy, our driver, has this like epic beard, and we decided just as a joke, as a group, that we were all going to wear beards to the hot spring one night, and we did it, and it surprised him, and it was quite lovely. I think the last one was Alex and I decided on a whim to kill everyone's ignition at a stoplight because it had been a really long day. Everyone was hot and pissy and tired. And so we were like, nah, whatever. We're just going to see how this goes. And it was actually pretty hilarious. Like we killed everybody's engine. No one had any idea what was going on until their engine was dead. So it ended up working out great. But those are probably the best pranks out of everything. What else we got? Anybody else got any more questions? I got lots of stories. I'm gonna just get rolling. Let's see. I don't really Angel Face, awesome. I don't really have a lot of big name people that support me. It's not really how I roll. Maggie Hicks, who works with Harley Davidson, is one of my closest friends. She's a rad chick. She's very supportive. And I absolutely love the shit out of her. She's actually at the Harley 120 right now, and I get to hang out there next weekend at Revzilla's ADV Fest, which I'm so excited to be at. So if anybody's going to be there, can't wait to see you. But yeah, if you guys don't follow Maggie, please follow Maggie. She's a wonderful human being. Also, her boyfriend is a very, very close friend of mine, Justin. He's kind of known as the Pan Am dude, but he's rad. Yeah, as far as other big time females, Stacy Ride to Food, also big in the Harley Davidson community, is a good friend of mine. I really adore her, very supportive. And yeah, I mean, those are kind of my big name gals, and they're not really in the ADV community. Most of my support comes from the local women I ride with all the time who have kind of more modest followings, but are wonderful. Tiffany, who works with Giant Loop, the feminine tomboy. I love her to death. She's wonderful. I've got a couple good girlfriends that ride ADV and dirt at home, and they're not really even active on social media. And that's where my female support comes from. It really doesn't come from the actual community. My community comes from most of the hooligan dudes you see in the chat right now. You know, Ben, Ian, Chris, Alex, a whole assortment, the VB40 guys, like everybody that's in here tonight. Yeah, that's where my support comes from, and that's what makes it fun for me. So, not many big name people. Oh my gosh, so funny. Yes, Maggie is the bomb. Let's see. What else we got? Chris, why is your little Canadian heart hurt? That's so sad. I'm not a big channel, but I have a big reach in the YouTube channels. Hi, Ray. Yeah, I love it. I'm just grateful to be here. I love getting to connect with people, especially new people I don't know. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this live stream too, is just to see who would randomly pop in and who would have time. And, you know, my biggest thing is I just want to ride motorcycles and travel. and tell stories. That's all I do. So, um, Ben, are you picking fights with people? I, um, I apologize to everyone about Ben. He comes into these chats and he just wants to pick on people. He's just a terrible human being. I don't know why we put up with him. Do I have a dream bike? One of my dreams is to actually just own a hangar and have about 10 bikes in a garage. That very like Maverick Top Gun type of feel. That's essentially what I would like to do. I don't think I ever want to have one dream bike because there's so many different types of riding I enjoy now, dirt, ADV, and road, touring especially. So being able to have different motorcycles for different avenues of riding is super cool. And it's something I hope it's a point I get to someday. The other thing too is I really like vintage bikes and I would love to start collecting them at some point. Whether or not that becomes feasible, we'll see. But um, the reason to hangar too is just because I don't ever see myself buying property or a huge house or anything like that. So having a nice little hangar with a little apartment and a whatever else above, basically a giant garage, sounds great. And that's exactly what I want. Oh God. Yes. Chris N+1 for sure. Yes, Alex, I told everybody about the ignition kill at the stoplight. It was very fun. I have a nice little video of it. I think I've posted it on social media. But it was fantastic. Also, don't pick on Alex. He's actually riding right now. So the fact that he's even tuned into this is wonderful. Thanks for being here, Alex. But he's actually riding up to Denver. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, airplane hangars for the bikes is definitely the dream. Oh, what made me decide to go on the road for a year? Amanda, that's a great question. It's a huge question. I think one of the reasons I decided to go on the road for the year is because I got divorced right before the pandemic and I moved to a new place. I was just starting to make friends and very suddenly the pandemic hit and life kind of got put on hold for 2 years. And during those 2 years, I learned how to ride dirt. I learned how to ADV ride and do all these fun things, but I really hadn't made peace with a certain part of myself. And so when my previous job at an ADV touring company kind of came to an end, I thought about what I actually wanted to do. And I had always wanted to live on the road and just see if I could do that and how it would go for me. And I did it. I just sold everything. I took my dogs and my amazing 16-year-old cat to my folks' place in Missouri and said, look, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I just want to live on my bike for a while and see if I can figure out how to be an artist, a writer, a digital creator. I didn't know at the time. I just needed to figure it out. And so I just took a chance. I didn't have anything to lose at that point. I just wanted to try and see if life had something else to give me. And it obviously did, because making that decision has exponentially changed my life in so many positive ways. I found my people. I mean, half of the people are in this chat right now. Actually, most of them are. And I found my community. I found the things I love doing. I love being on the road. I love being challenged. I love living and thriving in chaos. And I found a way to make my art while I do this. And that's, to me, is everything I set out to do. And I'm still alive, which is always a bonus. But I don't know. I needed to see what else the world had for me. That's why I did it. And it's been something I'm enormously grateful for. Let's see. Don't watch YouTube while riding your bike. Yeah, good luck trying to lecture Alex on that one, Ben. He watches movies while we ride on the highway and it's boring. So good luck with that one. Uh, what are these things, books you speak of? Yeah, I know. Nobody reads anymore. Also, one of the reasons why, just a quick sidebar here, one of the reasons why I decided to get into videography is because nobody reads books anymore. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a thanks, Alex. I know. I'm a published author under my pen name, my nom de plume, Whiskey Emerson. I've written 3 books. They as far as I know, have done very well. A lot of good reviews, but it's not a way to build anything unless you are at the top of a publisher's list for marketing and funding and everything else. So nobody really wants to sit down with a huge book and read. So if you're not going to do that, what can you do? As a storyteller, I searched through so many different facets of expression and found videography. And as someone who is very visual and who enjoys being able to give what I see to others, that was what I fell into and why I love it so much. I need links to these books. Amanda and Billy, I'll send you guys everything. You're wonderful. My historical fiction novels are enormous, FYI. So just a forewarning. They're under my pen name, Whiskey Emerson. You can find the first 2 on Amazon. It's West of Hell and East of Hell. It is a part of a trilogy, and the 3rd book in the trilogy I have half written on my laptop. And I decided when I started this year out, I was going to wait and finish the book after I got done. So once I finish my tiny memoir of my year on the road, I will be getting back to finishing South of Hell, which is the 3rd in the trilogy. I also have a apocalyptic sci-fi novel on Amazon that's strictly digital. I wrote it during the pandemic. It's pretty fucking cool. It's very like Mad Max meets Jericho. It's published under Grace Schussler, but it's called Rationem. It's Latin. And it basically just means an account or a story in Latin. And it's kind of a fun, wild ride. So if that's up your guys' alley, please check it out. But yeah, if you have any questions, please email me. I'm happy to send titles or send you links, whatever you need. I can promise you the stories are not disappointing. All of my friends are diehard fans, and I get texts every week to finish the 3rd book in my trilogy. So it's cool. All right. One for the road is here. Hey, dude. So good to see you. Also, so glad I got to see you this weekend. It was so nice to catch up with you. What kind of bird would I be and why? Ooh. That's a great question, Chad. So I know you guys probably can't see this super great, and I can't do well, but there's a peregrine falcon tattooed on my arm. And I got this peregrine falcon tattooed on my arm for a lot of reasons, but one of the first is that I volunteered with falcons when I lived in St. Louis during college. We actually have a bird sanctuary here that helps to rehabilitate and then release peregrine falcons, especially in the St. Louis area, because we have such a big squirrel problem here, hilariously enough, that they like to re-release peregrine falcons to help eliminate that problem. I was a huge volunteer there because I never really felt attached to birds. I'm definitely a mammal person, but they just were super fascinating to me and very cool. I loved getting to volunteer and like also feeling the like actual strength in their talons will blow your mind. It's so cool. Also, peregrine falcons have the fastest dive on the planet. I think they're actually the fastest animal on the planet when they're in full dive. So that's one reason I have it tattooed on me. Also, probably why it's my spirit animal in that regard. But the other reason that I have it tattooed on me is because I'm a follow my gut type of person. If I make a decision about something, very similar to how when a peregrine falcon takes a dive and takes a full hunt dive, they can't pull out of it. It is to the strike point. And if they die, they die. If they get dinner, they get dinner. That's how it goes. I'm very much wired like that. If I make a decision to do something, I do it and I see it through no matter what. And so that was always something that resonated with me about those birds and why I got that tattooed on my arm. So if I'm a bird, I'm a peregrine falcon. There we go. All right, let's see. What else do we got here? What was the biggest what the fuck moment I had with the vets? Ooh, what the fuck moment? That's a great question. I think one of the biggest moments I had was, hold on, I've got a couple in my brain. I'm trying to decide which one. Not huge ones, actually pretty small. I think one of my bigger what the fuck moments was at a moment in the trip when I felt like everybody had given up on the cause. We had a moment where everybody became so focused on the ADV ride and on their own kind of personal thing that I think the element of why we were there got a little bit lost. And I think both, I can speak for Alex and myself when I say we both hit a point where we were kind of like, okay, we'll just, this might just like even out organically and we'll see how the process goes. And it didn't. And we had an afternoon where intermittently, when we kind of separated from the team, we talked about what it might take to fix this. Because while Alex was very great and his experience obviously is 10 times greater than mine, considering he's been in the industry for 12 years and I've been in it for 1, he was very like akin to like, here's our options of what we can do and what we can say. For me, it was a what the fuck moment because I felt so emotionally invested that I wanted to shake the trees and get everybody back on board. And I didn't really care what it took. And so that was essentially what catalyzed the two of us saying, okay, well, let's have a hash out and talk to everybody and get everybody back on board. And we did. And it was great. It was such a constructive conversation and everybody was immediately back in. This is why we're here. This is what we're focusing on. It was amazing. But that like 24 hours leading up to it, I was having a lot of what the fuck moments because I was just hitting a point where I loved everybody, but I just wanted to make sure we didn't lose I didn't want us to lose the real reason we were all there, because an ADV ride up to Tuck through the Yukon, through Alaska is amazing and cool. There's also a ton of other people who have done it, who have the same footage we do and have had similar experiences with expedition. We needed to focus on what made ours special, and that was veterans. That was veterans doing this ride, and veterans doing this ride for a reason, which was to discuss and shed light on the suicide epidemic within our military. And the minute we kind of had a powwow with everybody, it was just like all the lights turned back on. And that's also one of the incredible things about vets and working with vets is, man, I'll tell you what, the second you're like, hey, we're off mission and we need to get back squared away, they're all just like right in there, ready to roll. And it was so incredible to see everybody step up to the plate, to get through the more intense interviews and just be so open to giving their story to people that they know they're going to help later. So that was my what the fuck moment. And then it was the best possible aftermath I could have hoped for. All right, let's see here. Ben, I don't know if you're referring to me as a deep thinker or not, but yes, it is exhausting, man. Been to many ADV events. Who was the most powerful power couple you've ever met? You mean you and Ian? Is that what we're fishing for here? Because it's definitely you guys. Although, I think that Trav and Ben might take the cake for the power couple. They're kind of like the Bennifer type of realm right there, as much as I hate to put it that way. So you guys are probably second, but whatever. Let's see what else we got. Any stories from the events that really shocked you and made me had to take a break? The great question, Tom. Shocked? No. Um, a lot of these stories, when we got down to it, I think we all had an expectation that there were going to be stories that were going to be very hard to hear. Uh, that's just kind of the name of the game when you're talking about mental health and suicide is people will share things that surprise you. I think one of the more shocking and also one of the best moments of our trip was when one of our guys talked about um, his own kind of, I guess, flirtation with uh, being in a suicidal mindset. And it was in a moment in the trip when it was impactful in a way that I cannot quite describe because it hit all of us. It hit all of us really hard. It came from a place that was so genuine and really just wanting to connect and to share that with other people. And he was one of his story and sharing that with everybody. It was while we were on comms riding one day was essentially the last thing to crack the egg for us. He broke everybody else open. And I mean, I was crying like a small child in the truck. I just listening to him talk about his story because it was such a sad and also a beautiful moment to have somebody who had felt really closed off from the world share this with a group of people and talk about it in a way that was meant to connect with others. It's incredible. So probably not shocking, but just overall impactful is how I would say it. Let's see. Okay, going down here. All right. Oh my God, you guys are so funny. Sure, angel face, whatever you want to do, that'd be great, babe. Thank you. I don't know what's going up with this utensil drawer situation. Also laughing at apparently the war going on between Trav and Ben versus Ian and Chris, but all right, we'll see how it goes. Did I miss any other questions? I don't really see any on here. I guess one thing I will talk about quickly too is I know everybody hits a lot of ADV events throughout the year. They're fun. Some are more fun than others. But if you guys have not been to the Giant Loop ride, which we do I think we do it basically every June, first weekend of June. I highly recommend going to the Giant Loop ride. It's incredible. It's so much fun. We had double the people that we had last year, and holy shit, it was a lot, but it actually worked great. I mean, you get to have such an integrated experience of being not only just amongst each other with the people you're riding with every day and socializing with every day, but you're also with the vendors. So you get to know the vendors at the booth, the people working with Alpine Stars, the Pan America guys, Royal Enfield, Hippo Hands, all these people that come in and just kind of are there to be vendors, and they camp with you and you have a great time and you actually get connected to the industry in a way that I don't think any other event does for you. I think it's such a special event to go to. Also, the riding is unbeatable because you're literally in Burns in the middle of Central Oregon. There's nothing around. So you get out in Mother Nature. You can go to the Alvord, you can go to the Steens. There are tons of dirt rides up, mountain ridge lines, out to reservoirs, like anything you could possibly imagine. It's just so much fun. I highly recommend everybody go next year if you can. I will be there. Obviously, most of these crazy men will be there as well, but it's just such a great time, and I highly recommend it. Giant Loop is a great brand. They've been around a long time, and this ride especially has grown exponentially the last few years. I think because it's just such a special experience. So I highly recommend it if you can make it. It's life changing. You and I both know that. Yes, also Brady, for those of you guys who don't know, Meerkat ADV on here, Brady, um, he has just been crushing the Oregon BDR and getting through it himself the last few days. So big shout out to you, Brady. Love you, dude. You're doing awesome. Super proud of you. Yeah, Ken's Moto, also stoked you're here, man. Thanks for showing up. I think that is one of the great things about Giant Loop is just you hear the number of people that are there and it blows your mind, but you don't ever really feel like there's that many people there because you have so many different groups of riders going out together, going out single, each other's RVs, campers, tents, everything, and it's such a blast. So highly, highly recommend. Am I lagging? I think there's thunder outside, so that might be why. But if there's an issue, let me know. Yes, we had Canadians. All right. Anybody else have any more questions? Anybody have questions about the Western US? Anybody have questions about camping? Anybody have questions about, oh man, let's see what else. Bourbon. Anybody have questions about, I don't know, road maintenance, Honda CB500s, riding through all types of weather, anything whatsoever. I'm at least a resource, but it's the wine. Let's see. Oh, here, look at all these coming. Yeah, Tour Tech doesn't really. I've I've tried to go to Tour Tech the last 3 years, and every time I've had a conflict, so I have not been able to get there. But Giant Loop to me feels like the place to be. Ooh, best bourbons from Billy and from Ben. All right, we got this. Cheaper bourbon that I will go for is either going to be a Buffalo Trace or a Four Roses. Higher end bourbon, that is my favorite, is Black Maple Hill. I really like the old blend better. They have a newer blend now. It's still wonderful, but the old blend is probably my favorite. I believe circa 2007. 2009. Anything Elijah Craig, also top of my list. Such a good bourbon. I'm not really a rye fan though. I've never really been a rye fan. Bourbon and whiskey are the way to go for me, but that's pretty much it. Yeah, I know, Ben, Four Roses. Yeah, honestly, if you guys are looking for a good bourbon that drinks really nice, Four Roses is great, but I also recommend Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace is fantastic. It's usually 20 to 25 for a fifth. Fantastic. Woodford, also great. A little bit pricier, but not too bad. Every tool you could possibly imagine. I have my one little Giant Loop bag that's literally just a toolkit. Obviously, I have pressure gauge, everything to check tires, fill tires when I need to, and chain lube, the usuals. But I mean, I have a Honda. Hondas are meant to run as long as they have good oil in them, good tires in the bike, and gas in the tank. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. Sorry if I'm lagging, guys. Doing my best here. My camp kit is pretty basic. I have a tent. I have a mattress. I have my sleeping bag. I have my inflatable pillow. I'm about to upgrade to the Big Agnes set because apparently it is the best one out there. And I turned 35 this year and I'm tired of being sleep deprived. So I'm going to get a little bougie and spend some money on my camp kit. But that's it. Other than that, I'm super basic. And then I just always have a jet boil with me for coffee in the morning and ramen if there's no other food around. Super simple. Yes, Buffalo Trace. Let's see. Irish whiskey, Trav? Who are you? Yeah, thank you, Ben. I such a good comment. Uh, let's see. Team Honda. Yes, always Team Honda. Preferred sleeping mat. I don't know. I'm about to buy a Big Agnes, and I'm super excited about it because I've had an inflatable sleep mat for a lot of years. It's been patched about 10 times. I need to